Most entrepreneurs treat their money like a shell game. They move funds around, hoping when tax season hits or a big expense comes, that you can open up the account and there's enough money in there. Now look, I've done that too, but you owe it to yourself to take your finances to the next level. So in this video, I want to show you how to automate your entire financial life so the money's always there, right when you need it. And not just for taxes, but for the fun stuff too. So you can finally start doing the things you dream about rather than waiting for someday when you can afford it. So first, we're going to go over the 5 core accounts you need that will force your business to be profitable. Next, the lifestyle accounts nobody talks about that automate vacations, cars, and investments. Then, how to earn 10.75% on all of it while it just sits there. And finally, the exact tools you can use to set this up in about 20 minutes. So let's go. Now first, the system comes from a book called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Now it's a great book, phenomenal book. But the core idea is if your business can't run while setting aside profit for you, then you don't have a business. You have a job, and that job owns you. So here's how it works. You set up 5 accounts. I think more accounts, but we'll start with the first 5. The first one is your income account. Now with this income account, all revenue lands there first. But the thing is, you never spend from this account. This account is only a distribution account. So the money comes in, then it gets distributed to the other accounts that actually spend the money. Everything passes through that account, but nothing stays in that account. Now, the second account is your profit account. Now, this should be anywhere from 1, maybe up to 20% of your revenue that you want to be profit should go into this account. Now, this ensures that a percentage of your revenue is always set aside as pure profit. Now, every quarter, you could take, say, 50% of the balance of that profit account as an owner. You take it as an owner distribution. Now, you can leave half in there so that way that the business has its own reserves inside that account. Now, if your business is running on really thin margins, let's say that you're barely paying yourself at all, then start maybe at 1%. But you need to start to build the discipline. You have to start to force the constraints. That constraint will force the business to become more profitable over time. So start at 1%, and then over time, you can scale up to 5%, 10%, and eventually to 20%. Like I said, this forces you to operate more profitably. It forces you to think about your spending and your expenses way more intentionally. Now, I've had businesses where I had to put money back in from my own personal account. That's a terrible sign. You don't want to do that. The profit account makes sure that you never get there. Okay, the third account is an owner's compensation account. Now, this should be 10, maybe up to 50%, depending on the business size and the revenue that you have. This is not the same as a profit account, okay? This is your salary. Now, too many business owners, they don't pay themselves enough. They don't pay themselves regularly, right? Or they pay themselves too low. If you can't pay yourself this amount, then you have the wrong business. So start small if you have to at least, but then force yourself to figure out how to pay yourself. I mean, you're the most important part of the business. You're the most important employee. So pay yourself like you're the most important. Okay, now the fourth account is your tax account. Now, some might be paying 40, 50%, maybe more. Hopefully you're doing some really good tax planning. Maybe that's down to 15%, 10%. Figure out what it is for you. For me, I might want to put 10 or 15%, but it could be up to 40%. Put that aside for tax obligations. Now, this prevents the tax season surprise, okay? You're setting aside money for taxes so that you don't have the penalties. You can make your quarterly payments on time. Now, like I said, I'm trying to keep mine under, 10%, but wherever you land, put those funds in the tax account. And again, don't use them for anything else other than paying taxes. The government's going to come get their cut. Just like you should be ruthless for your cut, they're going to get theirs. So set it aside now, making sure you're not blindsided later. And then finally, the fifth account is the operating expense account or an OPEX account. Now, this should be probably 30, maybe up to 60%, depending on your business efficiency. And this is where all business expenses get paid from. Your rent, your salaries, non-owner employees, utilities, all of that comes from this account. Now, this forces the business to be able to stay lean by limiting available funds. So rather than spending what's in the account, you only spend what's there. Here's why this works. You ever heard of Parkinson's law? It's basically any task will swell to the amount of time allotted for it. So if you have money in the account, you'll spend it. That's why we distribute it immediately, and that's why the government takes their cut first on W-2s. So here's your homework. Open these 5 accounts. Do it this week. Set your allocation percentages. Start at 1% profit, and then you can work your way up and automate the transfers on payday. Okay, now those are the 5 accounts, but here's some accounts that I also like to add that nobody talks about. It wasn't in the book, right? Those 5 keep your business running profitably. But what most people miss, there's a couple additional accounts that I set up that build your life. All right. Now, this is very important to me because it's all about my business supporting my life, right? If you're building wealth, but you're not designing the life that you actually want, then what's even the point? Now, the first one, I call it the vault. All right. This is where I store cash reserves for financial stability, for debt payoffs, for big moves that I don't even see coming, right? When you have money in your business, you start thinking about its growth, its longevity much differently. You can buy bulk inventory. You can acquire competitors. You can seize opportunities. When you have capital sitting ready, you start thinking more like an investor, not a reactor. The next account is the marketing account. Now, I'm a marketing guy first, so I set aside money specifically for ad spend. All right, this account ensures that you're always running promotions, you're always testing offers, you're always staying visible. This way, marketing isn't an expense, right? It's an investment. Treat it like one. And then I like to think of a lifestyle account. All right, this is where I automate my ideal life because goals are nothing more than dreams unless you actually build the system to achieve them, right? If you want to achieve them, you need to create daily non-negotiables. So you're going to figure out what you want in your life and then set up an account for it. Start funding it every month, no matter what. Let me show you how this works. Let's say that I want to take my family on a vacation every year, right? How much would I want to spend on a vacation? Let's call it, I don't know, $5,000. All right, so then what I want to do is I want to do that every year. So I'd amortize the $5,000 through 12 months. So that's $417 per month. And then I set up automatic transfer every pay period automatically goes in there. Now I never have to think about it again. Same thing, you want a new car every 3 years. I don't know, new car every 5 years. Okay, well, how much is the car? I don't know, $50,000 car. How much do you need to put down? 10 grand? Okay, that's $167 per month going in automatically into the car account. Start funding it right now. That way, when the time comes, you write the check, right? No financing, no interest. You already have it ready. You just buy it. Let's say you want to buy a new house, real estate investments, same process. Write down what you want, figure out the cost, amortize it, and then automate it. Now, I do this for all areas of my life, and I've been doing this for years, vacation accounts, investment accounts. And that way, when my family wants to take the big vacation, I don't even think twice about it. The money's already there, all right? That's freedom, and it removes the thought process I have to go through. All right, this is the basis of the multiply principle, right? We don't have to work harder. What we want to do is layer systems that run in the background. Each account now has its own job, and each job now compounds over time. So here's what you want to do. Write down 3 things you want over the next 12 to 36 months. A vacation, a car, a down payment, whatever. Figure out the cost, divide it by the number of months, open up the accounts, and then automate the transfers. That's it. And look, in a world where the cost of experiences and assets keep rising, right? Delaying this gratification without a funding system means you might not ever be able to catch up, which is why you have to build the pipeline right now. Now, because here's where this gets really powerful. Most people leave money in a checking account and it's earning 0.4%. But that's terrible. That's like financial malpractice. Let's say your business generates, say, $50,000 a month. Now, the old way is that, that money sits in a checking account and it's earning 0.4%. That's $20 a month in interest. But a better way is I could keep, let's say, $10,000 in my operating account, and I keep that for immediate expenses. And the other $40,000 is spread across high yield accounts, such as STRC, earning 10.75%. Now, that's almost $400 a month. That's over $4,000 a year just in passive yield, just from money that I was already making, and I just placed it somewhere smarter. Now, when I restructured my accounts and I moved my reserves into yield-bearing platforms, I was earning an extra $3,000 to $5,000 a month passively, right? Think about that. That's vacations. That's marketing budgets. That's retirement accounts, right? This is the leverage principle. You're making money work for you while it's waiting for its next job. Now, the wealthy, they never let capital sit idle, and neither should you. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to your bank. You're going to ask about high yield savings or money market accounts. If your bank doesn't have it, go into your brokerage account. They have them as well, right? If they're offering less than 4%, then go to platforms like I said, STRC. You could check out Mercury, Row, but move non-operating funds into those. Set it up and then forget it. Now, with the Fed holding rates elevated, cash is actually yielding real returns for the first time in decades. The window's not going to last forever, so take advantage of it while it's still here, and we can do that right now. Okay, now look, you don't need any fancy tools for this, right? You can sit down with literally a piece of paper and a pencil, and you can write down all these accounts. Think through the lifestyle accounts that you want. Think through the car, the house, the vacation, whatever it is. Write down the amounts. Set up these accounts with your bank, and then turn on automatic bill pay. Set up automatic transfers. Don't let I don't have time to get around to it. Don't let that get in your way. Now, there's a tool that I like to use. It lets you create these automatic bank accounts and drag and drop them. It's pretty good. I don't have an affiliate link for it. I don't make any money from it. I just think it's a cool tool. I'm reluctant to give you the tool because I don't want it to hold you back. Literally, use a pen and a paper if you have to, all right? And the best part is, it's like going to take you about 20 minutes to set all this up. But as soon as you log in your app, as soon as you see these accounts, you're going to be motivated to start filling them up. And when you see that tax number, it's going to give you peace of mind. When you see that marketing number, it's going to give you drive. It's going to give you creativity. When you see the vacation number, it's going to give you excitement. It's going to give you joy. And you're going to get addicted to watching those numbers start going up, getting bigger and bigger, right? This is such an easy thing to do, but it adds so much fuel to the most important buckets of your life. All right, let's recap this real quick. First, 5 core accounts: income, profit, owner's comp, tax, and OPEX. All right, this is the profit first system I talked about, right? This forces profitability and eliminates chaos in one account management. Next is the lifestyle accounts. This is the vault, the marketing, the vacationing, the car, the real estate, and these automate your ideal life, right? It automates the goals. And like I said, goals without funding, goals without systems, they're just dreams, right? Then all that money, I'm putting it into something earning like 10.75% on the money that's just sitting there waiting to be deployed, right? We can move all the reserves into this, and we can let our capital work while it's waiting. Now, finally, as I said, you don't need any fancy tools. A paper and a pencil, your bank's website, and like 20 minutes is all you need. But here's the principle: optimize, leverage, and then multiply. Okay, so we want to optimize our accounts so that every dollar has a job. Then we leverage high yield platforms so your money's working for you. Then we can multiply the system by layering these accounts that compound over time. All right, this isn't about working harder, it's about structuring smarter, because the wealthy don't have one account. They have systems. And now you do too. And here's the thing. In an economy where inflation is eroding purchasing power and uncertainty is the only constant, then velocity beats accumulation. Static wealth dies and flowing wealth multiplies. Now that you know how to structure your accounts, the next step is understanding how to accelerate the money flowing into these accounts. And if you want to know about that, click this video right here. I'm going to break down the 3 income streams that every business owner should be building. Links down below. To your success. I'm out.